wormholes, particle physics, extra dimensions. Are the wonders of so-called reality really what they appear to be? Or do we exist in an elaborate hologram? Is our universe the result of random activity or the result of intelligent design? If a creator was involved, can we discover him through our perception of divine order? This is Into the Multiverse with Josh Peck.
Boy, have we got a show for you today. One of my best friends in the world, longtime friend, is coming in to speak with us about his testimony and really extraordinary circumstances that brought him to where he is today. But before we get to that, I want to reintroduce to the show my lovely, beautiful, not pregnant anymore wife. I think people got sick of me saying pregnant.
I got sick of you saying it too.
But the good thing is we recorded a lot of those episodes ahead of time, so they're still going to have to deal with it for a couple of weeks. But this is the first episode where Christina Peck is back. After having our third child, Adam.
Yes.
How are you doing?
I feel great.
Awesome.
Adam is 9 weeks old now.
Yeah. Beautiful, healthy boy. And we have another beautiful, healthy boy, Justen Faull, with us in studio. Hey, Justin, how you doing?
I'm great, Josh. Thanks for having me, Christina. It's really good to be here with you guys.
I know we had we've been online friends for a long time. We've both been on each other's shows. I've been on your podcast. You've been on mine, but we've never actually met in person until yesterday, actually.
It's really cool being up here and meeting everybody. Everybody that I've met is exactly what I imagined.
That's awesome,
and that's a good thing. That's a compliment, for sure.
Wow, that's really cool.
Well, that's good.
Well, I guess we could probably touch a little bit on at least what brought you here to Crane, Missouri.
Okay, yeah. I'm working on the first film that I've actually written. For years, I've worked on other people's projects, but this is the first film I've actually written. As you know, it is on the Hollow Earth.
Oh, wow, yeah.
I know we'll be getting more into that later on in the future, but that's what brought us here. We've been on a circuit, traveling around, getting some really good interviews, so that's what brought us to Crane.
That's so cool, and it's awesome to see what God has been doing in your life since even the short while that I've known you. It's only been a couple years, maybe 2 or 3 years, and he's brought you through a lot. But you have an amazing testimony even before I met you, and I'd love to talk about that because I've only heard little bits and pieces of it, but already there were a lot of things that we have in common with it. So where do you want to start?
There's so much. I do a paranormal radio show, podcast, but it's Christian, obviously. I always with a biblical perspective. That's like the most important thing. It's like we can talk about these things as Christians. We have to join the conversation, I believe. Yep. But bringing the biblical perspective to everything that's going on. And there's a lot of things that happened in my childhood, but kind of going forward with some of the things in my adult life, my brother and I were doing some work for our old church, Baptist church.
Oh, okay.
And I tell people, I joke, we're Baptist-costal. But we were at the Baptist church at the time, and I had built a website for them. And so I went up there to pick up a check from the offices, and there was a woman outside, and she was pacing around the parking lot. It was kind of odd, real unusual. The parking lot was empty, but we see her van, and she's walking around, and she's got a German Shepherd in the van. And the German Shepherd is destroying everything. I mean, just there was something uneasy about the situation. So anyway, we go in. We're only inside for a minute. We come back out, and she's pacing really fast, like really strange. I thought she was on drugs.
Oh, wow.
So we walk over to her, and the dog is ripping the ceiling out of the van, literally destroying the inside of the van, and she's just standing there talking to herself. Now, looking back on the matter, I don't believe she was talking to herself. I know for a fact the woman had demons.
Right.
So we're talking to her. I'm trying to share the gospel, asking if I can help her with anything. And we went to lay hands on her to pray for her. I had never done any kind of deliverance before. And it was almost instantly, she was no longer standing by us. She was over 12 feet on the other side of the parking lot.
Oh, wow. Whoa. So like a teleportation kind of thing?
Like a teleportation type thing.
Wow.
I couldn't process it. Matter of fact, I'm wondering what just happened here. Never in my life have I actually been close to something like this. And it was real weird because you sense something in them. And from a worldly perspective, you say, okay, they're just drugs. Somebody's on drugs. But I'm sorry, drugs do not cause somebody to jump.
Teleporting, yeah.
She was literally a jumper. That's what I would call her.
Wow.
But that kind of started me off on realizing something really odd is going on. And it was weird that she happened to be on the church property. I don't know what brought her there, but I believe that the Lord ordained our steps to be there to experience this so that I would be awakening to the things that were going to be happening.
So this was their first time ever seeing like a supernatural kind of thing like that.
Absolutely. Now,
Wow.
my dad had always told us about demon possession. Now, my dad growing up was a Baptist minister, and in the generally in the Baptist church, you're not going to see a whole lot of deliverance, right?
Right.
Generally. But my dad was in multiple situations where they would cast demons out of people and help them walk with the Lord. So growing up, I would hear these stories and they would always freak me out. As a kid, I mean, I was always just fascinated by these things. But then I got to experience this for myself. I knew there was something demonic going on. And that really launched me into wanting to learn about the supernatural and the paranormal from the biblical standpoint.
Wow. So what happened with that woman after the teleportation happened? Did she just leave or what ended up happening there?
She jumps or teleports, and then it was like she darted to the van and took off.
Oh,
Whoa.
wow. You guys never saw her again?
Never saw her again. Never had the opportunity to really help her.
Wow.
But I was at the time I was ill-equipped. I'd never dealt with anything like this before, but experiencing it let me realize that there was more than meets the eye. There was more than this, go to church on Sunday. And I sincerely was saved. I knew the Lord at the time, but I had never experienced the supernatural. And that really opened up my mind to the realities of what was going on.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense. And I know God's had similar situations in our life where, because when we first met, I was still like real traditional Baptist, you know, and there's nothing wrong with Baptist or anything like that. But I think for what God has called us to do, you know, you got to kind of come out of some of that, you know. But God used supernatural experiences in our lives too. A lot of like sleep paralysis type of stuff and demonic manifestations in our first home.
Oh,
trailer.
gosh, yes.
Which if people are interested in hearing more about that, we did a whole episode called Demonic Manifestations where we get into all that stuff. But we had a lot of situations like that too that had to help, that I think God used to help us get out of our, I don't know what we would call them, preconceived notions about how reality actually works.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, she's had a lot of stuff too. You got stories you could tell about that.
The trailer for one. Growing up as a kid, I didn't live in a haunted house or anything, but interesting things happened on our property. Our house was built on a Indian burial ground.
Oh,
yeah.
So, so we had some interesting things happen, and this is southeastern Michigan, so there's lots of Indian tribes, and we had. There were dreams my sister would even have about. She said, "There's this thing running around our barn, like screaming something, and I don't understand it. It's a different language," and so we've had similar experiences like that on the property growing up.
It'll change your perspective.
Yes.
If nothing else, it'll change your perspective and cause you to at least be curious about what else there is.
Yeah. So growing up, I knew of these things at a very young age, and I knew I wasn't. And when I would go to my mom and dad, my dad realized that he's like, it wasn't the normal talk you have with your kid, like, oh, don't worry, it's okay. It's no, okay, something's there. Yep, you're right. Yeah, you saw that. And I'm, okay, I'm not crazy. So.
Yeah, for me it was the complete opposite. For me it was, no, it's just dreams, you know, it's fine, you know, just pray and you'll be okay. But being brought up in a Baptist church, kind of like you said, we didn't have a really strong background in spiritual warfare, so I didn't know about, you know, like using the name of Jesus to cast anything out. But yeah, your dad was all
in it,
into it. Like he totally knew how to. He
knew how to handle it. He's like, this is what you do. You know, I'm a 6-7-year-old girl. Daddy, this is what, you know, something came out of my closet. This is what you do, honey. Yeah. You pray, and this is what you say. And he was totally very supportive and always knew what to do. Yeah. And so I learned growing up real quick.
Well, you know, some people's parents would just kind of write the kids off.
Yes.
They would say, you're having a bad dream. It's in your head. So it's a blessing to come from a family, at least, that is going to help you in those situations rather than tell you that you're lying or making things up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Well, we definitely have a lot more to talk about. The next phase of Justin's story right after this.
Many ancient prophets foresaw Abaddon rising from the underworld in this very age. The satanic human sacrifice by CERN employees in front of the god Shiva was called parody. But all occult masters understand that symbolism was a powerful invitation for a doorway to be opened at CERN.
The secret origins of CERN are nefarious to the core.
Sergio Bertolucci, the science director at CERN, admits that they're trying to open a doorway to a parallel reality, and they hope that something, unknown unknowns he calls them, will come through it. And CERN was built right over Apolliacum, where the ancients believed the doorway to Abaddon and the bottomless pit exists.
Is the bottomless pit from Revelation chapter 9 about to open? The biggest and most secretive investigation ever is set to be published, disclosing what no report has done before in Abaddon Ascending.
Technology today is being developed so that we can communicate with extra-dimensional entities.
The ancient conspiracy at the center of CERN's most secretive mission. But how will God's people, the remnant, prevail over the principalities of darkness during the final showdown between heaven and hell? Though hell may have its directive, heaven has its imperative. Increasing evidence from around the globe of miracles, healings, and prophetic visions indicate that God is already raising up an army of believers for the greatest awakening yet. Coming this December, internationally acclaimed best-selling authors and researchers Dr. Thomas Horn, author and researcher of quantum physics Josh Peck, college president Dr. Michael Lake, investigative researcher Reverend Donna Howell, and the host of Southwest Radio Ministries Dr. Larry Spargimino. A research finale so huge and important it had to be published in a new 3-book collection. Abaddon Ascending. The ancient conspiracy at the center of CERN's most secretive mission, the Sheerith Imperative, empowering the remnant to overcome the gates of hell.
He always has a plan. He's playing chess while the devil's playing checkers.
Final Fire. Is the next great awakening right around the corner?
There are signs all around the world right now that we are on the cusp of the next great spiritual awakening.
There is revival breaking out now where there has never been the faith.
This 3-book collection available December 6, 2016. For more details, log on to skywatchtv.com. Coming exclusively from Skywatch TV for a very limited time starting December 6, 2016. When you purchase the new 3-book special investigative research collection, Abaddon Ascending, Final Fire, and the Sheerith Imperative from skywatchtv.com, you'll receive the largest giveaway in Skywatch TV history. An unprecedented value of over $400 in free books, DVDs, audio files, and the never-before-released data DVD library from Dr. Michael Lake on the Sheerith Imperative, which includes 56 Christian classic works on PDF. All 28 episodes in Dr. Michael Lake's Understanding the Kingdom audio series, the latest version of Eastward for Windows, the 3-part Into the Multiverse television series where Josh Peck interviews Dr. Michael Lake on the Sheerith Imperative, and nearly 3 hours of bonus interviews on video with Dr. Lake on the Sharpening Report. For your library or to give away as gifts, Also included in this biggest giveaway in Skywatch TV history are Josh Peck's full-length 2016 DVD presentations, The Quantum Future and Extra-Dimensional UFOs. Dr. Michael Lake's full-length 2016 DVD presentations, Jericho, The Anatomy of a Stronghold and The Shinar Directive. The new 5-part Skywatch TV special investigative report on the books, Abaddon Ascending, Final Fire, and The Sheerith Imperative. But that's not all. You'll also receive the new Best of Skywatch Television on DVD. Over 5.5 hours of the most popular episodes in Skywatch TV history. Travel through the multiverse on the new Best of Into the Multiverse on DVD. Over 5 hours of audio with Josh Peck on the coming Technocalypse. The best-selling book, The Final Roman Emperor. An incredible 5-year subscription to the Skywatch magazine. 2 brand new free gift books. And the never-before-released data DVD library from Dr. Michael Lake on The Sheerith Imperative. For your library or to give away as gifts. An unprecedented value of over $400 in never-before-offered free products. This is the biggest giveaway in Skywatch TV history, and it's yours absolutely free when you purchase the new 3-book special investigative research collection, Abaddon Ascending, Final Fire, and The Sheerith Imperative for only $39.95 plus shipping from skywatchtv.com, beginning December 6, 2016. But be advised, this astonishing promotion is limited to first come, first serve while supplies last. So it's urgent that beginning December 6, 2016, you place your order for the new 3-book special investigative research collection. This offer is on a limited time basis and will end without notification. So be sure to visit skywatchtv.com to follow the updates. In the countdown to the biggest giveaway in Skywatch TV history, the unprecedented value of over $400 in never-before-offered free products while supplies last. For more details, log on to skywatchtv.com.
Welcome back to Into the Multiverse. Again, we are in studio with Justen Faull. If you haven't had a chance to do so already, subscribe to our channel on YouTube. If you're watching this on YouTube, you can check us out also on Roku at the Skywatch TV channel. And if you are watching this on Roku, go to youtube.com/IntoTheMultiverse. Make sure to subscribe and you'll have access to all past episodes and future episodes of Into the Multiverse. So I want to jump right back into this, Justen. You were talking about your first supernatural experience. Where did God take you after that?
After that, you always hear about UFOs, right? The
Yes.
TV, the movies, and growing up in America, if you haven't heard of UFOs, you've been living under a rock.
Yes.
I mean, but my mindset was always that it's just propaganda. It's just sci-fi, right? Like I never even entertained the thought that there were actually UFOs that were real, or not just man-made UFOs, but even demonic craft or fallen technology.
Yeah.
And so my buddy Rodney, he's actually the guy who's watching my dog right now. He's telling us we got to come out to his house. He's like, I've got UFOs over my house right now. He said they've been here for over a month.
Wow.
And he lived about an hour and a half away. And I'm like, man, this is just crazy, right? My brother and I both, we thought this is just, he's probably making this up. Or he thinks they're UFOs. They're probably, there's an explanation. Finally, they'd been there for well over a month. And he says, please just come out and look. So we drive out there, and sure enough, there was a fleet of UFOs.
Wow.
Making the shape of a pyramid.
Wow.
Of course.
And you could see them. Now, they weren't right over his house. It wasn't like they were like landing on his roof, but they were very clear. You could see something was very odd. And then the lights went down at night, and you could see them even more. They lit up. Now, to this day, I don't know what they were. But when I saw them, it kind of changed my perspective. I started to wonder, maybe there's an explanation. Chuck Missler had been talking about these Nephilim creatures and demonic UFOs. So I began to research that a little bit more. And once you see something like that, it's almost like that movie They Live, where they put the glasses on and you see everything, right? And I began to see UFOs.
Oh, wow.
And this is going to tie me into my next story, because once you see something, like I said, you have an eye to pick it out in other places, right? So I saw something pretty crazy in a video. It was a California UFO sighting, so they called it. It was an orb that was changing colors and moving around. It was morphing and shape-shifting.
Oh, okay.
And the guy keeps telling his wife, be quiet, be quiet. I'm trying to film this. Well, there's a tree out in the distance. It looked like 2 trees, right? And all of a sudden, one of the trees starts walking off.
Oh,
wow.
And it's striding. The arms are moving.
wow.
And you have to really pay attention. But once you see it, you can slow it down, and you're like, that is creepy.
I think I know the video that you're talking about. Was it kind of at dusk? And
Yes.
I think I've seen the one that you're talking about. If it's the same one, yeah, that is really creepy.
The guy sounds kind of country, and he's
Yeah.
telling the wife, stop talking, and he's fixated on this orb, and it's changing colors, very, very crazy. I mean, the orb is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But when you see this tree start to stride off camera, and
Yeah.
you really have to pay attention. And if you looked at the comments, nobody was talking about it, at least not when it first came out.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine was like, "Did you just see that tree walk?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Wait, what?"
And you get the sense that even the filmmaker didn't see it at the time.
Right, because that would have been a bigger
Yeah.
hit than the orb, right?
Right, yeah.
So I saw this shadow creature, and I had a guy come out on my program on the Fourth Watch, and he's a deliverance minister, and he's in Miami. He's right in the middle of Witchcraft Central. They've got stores down there where you can buy animals for sacrifice.
Oh,
man.
wow.
Totally legal to sacrifice animals in certain
Yeah.
types of religions, and they're protected by the Constitution, right? And we had what was called the Mariel boat lift. Most people know what it is because of Scarface, the Scarface movie, where a lot of the Cubans came over into Florida. And what came with them was witchcraft religion.
Yeah.
And so he lives in the middle of a witchcraft community. He said he'll come home and there's hex bags thrown up on his roof, voodoo dolls all over the place, because he open air preaches the gospel. He's got a PA system he puts in his backyard, and he has a house church. So anyway, he's telling me these stories. He's going to come on the Fourth Watch and talk about the type of warfare he's faced in his community because he does preach the gospel, right? Well, he tells me some of these things. He tells me a story about a woman levitating and her eyes turned black. And he's telling me that he was going to tell the story on the show, and they cast the demons out of the woman. Really crazy story. Awesome story.
Yeah.
So we pray together, we get off the phone, and it's like I hear this voice, like it wasn't audible, but it was almost audible. And it was like this voice saying, you need to keep praying. You need to keep praying right now. Don't stop. Lewis had already hung up the phone, but I'm sitting there on my bed, and my room is I have my studio and then my room, and we're underground. In Georgia, it's like a basement apartment, right? And I just felt the Lord telling me to keep praying, keep praying. So I just keep praying, and I see this thing like pass in front of me. Like, you know how you can wave your hand, you still see it?
Yeah.
And I open my eyes, but I'm still praying. I'm praying audibly, by the way. Which is kind of odd because I don't always pray audibly when I'm by myself, but I was doing it this time, and there was a shadow creature literally from the floor all the way to the ceiling passing by me, and I just kept praying. And it walked through the wall into the earth, Josh.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
I'm down under the ground, and it literally was exiting the room as I was praying.
When you were praying, what types of things were you saying?
I was praying for protection.
Okay.
I'm sure you guys know how it is.
Oh, yeah.
The type of ministry that we're involved in, it's like you have targets on every part of your body.
Yes.
Not just physically, but spiritually and it's crazy. And so I'm praying for protection. I'm praying for Brother Lewis, praying for his ministry. I'm praying for the Fourth Watch. I'm praying for protection over me because I had sleep paralysis before. It's clearly not a medical situation, what I dealt with.
Yeah, we've had it too.
Yes.
And so when I'm going to do a show that's so bold and so just warfare on the demonic realm, I always pray for protection before I go to bed. Because even as Christians, that sleep paralysis, it comes in sometimes.
Yeah, it definitely does. And I get emails and messages, we both do sometimes, from people who suffer from sleep paralysis and wonder if it's something they're doing wrong. And it's not always it's not always that. Now, sin can invite that in sometimes, but sometimes it's just that we live in a fallen world, or I think sometimes the enemy knows if God has a specific purpose in mind, and they might try to mess that up. And we've dealt with that too. I wanted to ask the pyramid UFOs. It was up there for a couple of months or so. Did anybody get any pictures or film or anything of it?
We did. We had HD cameras were not the thing to have at the time.
Oh, okay.
So I'm kind of dating the situation. We did pick up a Sony HD camera, but it didn't have. It was a camcorder, and so the lenses on it, we were not able to get good footage of it.
Oh, okay.
So again, this is taking us back into some early experiences that I had. He did have a camera, a digital camera, but he didn't have a zoom lens or anything on it. So this was years ago.
Gotcha. That makes sense. You know, she actually had an encounter with a UFO too.
I've had a few encounters, but the one that you're talking about is when I was 12 years old. I was at a friend's house, and she was going to come over and stay the night. So I was helping her pack up everything. My mom, my sister, and I were all over there because her mom was my mom's best friend. And, well, I'm helping her pack up, and we're going out to the car. My sister was sleeping out there, and my friend wanted to say goodbye to her dog. And usually the dog is right there at the fence, never hard to find. Well, she went out there and she's calling for her dog. Her dog's name was Cinders. And she's like, Cinders, where are you? Dog never showed up. Dog just was nowhere to be found. And so we're getting to the car, and I just kind of see a reflection of some light off her garage. And I look up, and there is this craft. It's right there. It was close enough to where I could see into the windows. I could see the windows were a triangular.
The windows of the craft?
Yes, they were a triangular shape, and I could see what was inside.
Oh boy!
And it was not dark inside the craft. There was a light on, and there was some sort of light, on inside. But I mean, these creatures were peach colored. They were really bony looking, very disgusting. I mean, it was like I was almost hypnotized by this thing. And it took everything for me to snap out of it. And like, I was picking up my friend, she was a big girl, okay? And I'm like trying to throw her into the car. I'm like, get in the car. And then all of a sudden, when we're getting in the car, my mom came around. And after I see this thing take off, like I'm watching it. It does this kind of number, shoots off a little bit, does this little number again, and then takes off. And so I'm in the car now, and my mom's asking me, what's wrong? She's putting her hand on me, and she's saying, Jesus, calm down, Jesus. And I was like, I just saw a UFO. And she's, okay, I'm going to get, her mom, and we're going to all come over back to the house. And we never found the dog that night. But the next day when we came back to the house, the dog was fine. But, wow. I mean, that dog was nowhere to be found.
Now, you said when you saw into the windows,
yeah,
you felt this, like a force over you?
Yeah, it was like I was hypnotized. Like, I was just stunned. Not just the fact that I saw this thing, because I've seen them before, but never that close up. And I just felt like time was slowing down, and it felt like I was there for hours, but it was only a matter of maybe a minute at most.
Well, what's interesting is a lot of people who encounter what's called the black-eyed kids or the black-eyed children phenomena, they will say that when they are peering into the eyes of the black-eyed children, that this force takes over them, and physically they are not able to think, process anything, and people, I don't like using this term. I use it very rarely, but some people, especially in the New Age movement, they'll use the term psychic vampires.
Right.
And they'll say that an alien, be a gray alien or some type of a hybrid creature, or even the black-eyed children, they will have this force, and it's like they're sucking your energy out, and you can't stop it. Now, that's what I was thinking about when you said that you felt this, almost like a hypnosis or something kind of come over you. That's kind of what I think about with the black-eyed kids. Yeah. They'll come tapping and rapping on your door and on your window, and I have a crazy story. Do I have time to share one story about this?
We're going to have to hold it till the next episode, unfortunately. But if people want to find out, and we are going to have Justen back on, so make sure to subscribe. If people want to find out more about you or check out your podcast, your show, where can they go?
fourthwatchradio.com, all spelled out, FOURTHWATCHRADIO.com, fourthwatchradio.com. Free apps, mobile apps, high quality, low quality shows, everything right there on the site.
Fantastic. All right, we will have Justen Faull back on soon, I promise. Until then, take care and God bless.